Welcome to Leveling Up with Lindsay, the podcast where we dive into leadership, small business, and everything in between. I'm Lindsay, your host and the proud owner of White Peony Boutique, a space created to empower women, build confidence, and foster meaningful connections. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a mom, a friend, or someone just looking for a little inspiration, this is your space to feel seen, supported, and inspired. Join me as we share stories, strategies, and a little bit of life's chaos while navigating what it truly means to level up in starting a business, relationship, and personal growth. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfy, and let's level up together. In this powerful episode of Leveling Up with Lindsay, I sit down with the extraordinary Melissa Poepping, international speaker, entrepreneur, author, founder of VRAI Cosmetics, and a true pioneer of clean beauty and empowering living. And when I say that the list goes on, it does.
I have chills. Thank you.
From challenging generational beliefs to launching a movement rooted in truth, Melissa shares the behind the scenes of creating a toxic-free lifestyle, her evolution in the beauty industry, and why confidence begins at the intersection of refinement, intention, and truth. So welcome.
That's a beautiful, like, can I use that?
Yes, you deserved every part of that.
Thank you. I fully receive that. Thank you.
All right, we're going to dive into the journey behind your cosmetic brand and why the world needed a new standard in beauty, what it means to stand against the grain when everything says play small, the mindset shifts that led to global influence and how you can cultivate your own, how Melissa built a brand that feels more like a mission, and why truth, beauty, and purpose belong in the same conversation. If you ever questioned the status quo, longed for more authenticity, or wanted to redefine your own version of beautiful, you'll feel deeply seen in this conversation.
It is such an honor to be here. I want to start with that.
Well, it is an honor to have you sitting here with me. Well, everyone, this is Melissa Poepping, and I would love more than anything for you to give a background of who is Melissa. Who are you?
I am the girl next door. Like, you give this huge intro, this amazing, magnificent intro, but at the end of the day, Lindsay, I am the girl next door. Like, you could come over, we'll sit on the back porch, we'll have a cup of tea, have a cup of coffee, have a glass of wine, have a glass of champagne, whatever it is. That at my heart is me. And in every single thing that I do, it's rooted in that connection. I could be an influencer, right? And I could have all these cool things, go do, these videos, and everyone will want the cool things because I'll say how cool they are. But I'm not an influencer. I'm a woman of influence. And I want to really, every conversation that I leave, to leave an impression of increase, that the person in front of me feels empowered, that they feel educated, that they feel aware, that they feel enlightened. And that's entirely different. Like, you've bought things right before where you've seen the quick TikTok, you've seen the video, you're like, oh my gosh, that's so cool, I want to buy it. And you buy it.
Yes.
Okay. I recently did that with like this laser thing. I'm like,
do I need it?
I could not run to the cart fast enough. Like, I need that. Add to cart, buy it. And, I got it and it sat there for a very long time and I never used it. I was influenced. And we all have those things. You buy it, you get it, you were excited, it arrived, you came down off the ether, it wasn't exciting anymore, and it sat in the cabinet for like a year. But if I take that same device now and I was going to go educate on it, I would talk to you about how the elasticity in your skin breaks down with age, how collagen degradation, like those intrinsic aging factors, extrinsic aging factors, how to use this, how to build it into part of your routine, how taking this time for yourself, creating these little capsules of just goddess hours where you can just do this for you. Now that's entirely different. Mm-hmm. You're going to stalk the postal delivery for it to come. You're going to get it. You're going to rip it out of the package. You're going to make a whole experience out of it because that's the difference between influence and being a woman of influence. So that's me.
So on a personal level, when you say experience, and I think of Melissa Poepping, I think that's where we relate in detail and in so many things. So we're going to touch base on that a little bit further later on. But I would love for you to kind of give a little bit of background on your professional career and what has led to VRAI Cosmetics right now.
Well, I mean, should we start with the fact that I used to wear mascara to kindergarten?
I didn't know that about you.
It didn't go so well. You know, I've always had a fascination with beauty and makeup. Fashion, beauty, that's ingrained in me, just like it is you. Like it's a part of you. You can't get rid of that. But for me, and I know this is the same for you, I look at it so different. Like it's not just I want to put makeup on because I want to look beautiful. This is get cute from me. When I feel good, that's an entirely different thing. And when I look good, I feel good. And when I feel good, I'm nicer. I'm a better human being and everything just works so much better. But it really comes down to like how I feel about me. And, you know, we work out in physical fitness to take care of our physique. Why do we do that? Because we want to feel good. We want to look good and we want to feel strong. And, you know, we take care of our health at a cellular level because we want to have the energy. We want to have the vitality. For me, this is no different. Like I love doing my hair. I love intentionally choosing an outfit based on, you know, what vibe do I want to have today? How do I want to feel? Doing my makeup, creating a look that's going to honor all of that and just bring it full circle. And for me, it's always been the connection with women. I grew up, women did not support women in my family. They just didn't. There was a lot of jealousy. There was a lot of manipulation, a lot of narcissistic abuse, and it just, women did not support one another. That's not the environment that I grew up in. It always hurt at a deep level. You know, I had a really close relationship with my grandmother. I have a really close relationship to this day with one of my aunts. I have a really beautiful relationship with one of my cousins. But it was this feeling of, you know, when those things were happening in the moment, how deeply it cut me. But I just thought it was normal. And so when I started to really, I've always been one that really just feels about a situation, right? Just that immediate sacral hit. How does this make me feel? What am I feeling in this moment? What am I feeling in this? And I kind of process it. And those things just never felt right. And I remember just at a very young age questioning, like, is this how it's supposed to be? Is this how women are supposed to treat each other? Like, that's not it. How can that be it? Like, I just felt so strongly that's not what we're here to do. And that started at a very young age. And so when I started doing makeup for women and launched my first cosmetics company in 2015, I really had the opportunity to work with so many women one-on-one. And one of the most beautiful things that I would see happen was this connection. I wanted to see her feel beautiful. And she, in that moment, wanted the connection to truly feel like someone wanted her to feel beautiful. It wasn't about looking beautiful. It was about what are we feeling in this moment? And the light bulb went off and it just took off like wildfire with me. There was no way I could never have my life not have that experience in it. And so as I have literally traveled the world, sat in front of tens of thousands of women, putting makeup on thousands of them myself personally, my favorite moment is when a woman will admit her deepest vulnerability to me and say, I don't know what I'm doing with this. Like, I don't know how to apply this. And it's like societally, we're just supposed to know. And some women don't. And so when they can admit that vulnerability to me, I'm like, oh, we are going to have the most magnificent time right now.
We are going to be best friends.
Yes. And then when I actually do her makeup and I spin her around in that chair, she picks up the mirror and sees herself for the first time. And she looks at me with tears in her eyes and she just says, I don't remember the last time I felt beautiful. Like that for me is why I love doing what I do. That is what makes this so different. And that right there is behind every single thing that I create. So that experience that I just explained comes from really this longing to have that connection through my entire life. And I think that this is a beautiful way to create that.
When we've had conversations in the past, that actually is top of mind when I think of what we've talked about or what you will flip and question me on. Two things is, one conversation that is brought up is like going against the grain. When everyone in the world says to play small, makes you think that you should be smaller than you need to be, if that makes sense. So going against the grain in a world that says stay quiet, be small, you have been one to empower to stand tall, stand confident, feel beautiful. And even with my own, I think of the conversations that we've had and you're like, Lindsay, but why? And I'm like, you're right. Absolutely. I'm on a journey of beauty, and I wanted to create a space with White Peony where people come and feel like the weight of the world leaves at the door. And I think that is how we're very connected in our mission, because we want people to feel bigger, to hone in on your strengths, to look at your values, to look at how you can leave feeling so beautiful, but that it comes from within a lot of times. You always say that as well. But then why not put that lipstick on and feel great? I mean, for gosh sakes, Melissa coordinated her beautiful outfit for our background. And I thought, okay, noted. I'm going to level up in that regard as well. But I just love the confidence you bring in. You don't have to be like everybody else. If you want to wear the lipstick, if you want to do this, do it and be darn proud.
You know, one of my favorite sayings is, you know, when you're looking at an outfit to wear, like I'm going to go to this wedding, like the iconic staple is the LBD, the little black dress.
Sure.
And I've always thought, well, if I wear a little black dress, I'm going to be just a grain of sand on the beach, because everyone's going to be wearing the little black dress, right? So, you know, what are those ways that I can bring my style into it? How do I want to feel? I don't want to blend in, but it's not that I want to stand out either. You know, people talk about, gosh, Melissa, you know, you're really just getting after it and you're disrupting the industry, and that's amazing. I don't want to disrupt the industry. That's not the vibe for me. There are people that are completely happy using the products that they're using. I'm not here to change their mind. I don't need to disrupt the industry. There's a buyer for every product. There's a place for everything. What I'm doing is, and it's not even that it's challenging anything, but it is setting a new standard. And I actually can officially say it's not that it's setting a new standard. I have set a new standard. It's so exciting for me to have done that. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. Why settle? You're just going to be another grain of sand on the beach. Like, why settle? And why dim your light? If I dim my light, how the hell is anyone going to find me?
That's actually what I was just going to pick at. I'm like, would you say, and you kind of talked about this stemming from when you were a little girl, but truly, at what point did you look at yourself and say, like, how young were you when you're like, I don't want to wear the little black dress?
I actually remember I must have been probably 7 or 8 years old, and my grandparents were having a fight, and the argument got pretty loud. I went in the basement, and there was a box of dress-up clothing, right? And there was a pair of shoes in this box that were the most gorgeous glitter shoes I've ever seen in my entire life. And they were from the 50s. And I'm like, absolutely, these had to have belonged to Marilyn Monroe. And there was only one, but like, this is the story I just told myself. And it allowed me to just escape. And I remember distinctly that day holding that shoe thinking, listening to my grandparents fighting, there is no way that God would have put anybody on earth to live this life. There has to be more than this, because what is the point? What is the point to live like this? What is the point? And I will never forget that day. I will never forget that moment. I can recall it like it was yesterday. It's just so crisp in my mind. I do own a pair of shoes like that now. They are Jimmy Choo's.
Okay. I might need to see these.
You know, first time I bought them, it was the first thing that I saw them, and it's what it reminded me of. And I'm like, I'm going to flip the narrative on this entire story. And when I wear those shoes, I just feel so empowered.
Okay. So when I think of, you know, myself and my executive career, walking into a room like, oh, you look fancy, or leaving there with my work attire to go to a family event or a community event in a small town, I went from athletic Lindsay with all the phases everyone goes through as a wide jeans and t-shirts, to athletic where I wouldn't wear dresses for a while, to only dresses for a little while, you know, went through all the phases. When I talk about my style and what that is, it's usually business casual. It's either all or nothing, first of all, but business casual.
I either look like I'm homeless or I'm going to the Emmys.
Literally.
There's no in between.
No, it's not good. There were times where I felt like I had to kind of dim my light a little bit, like as far as, you know, appearance wise, and it was kind of uncomfortable. Or when you come into a room and you're so excited and you come up with all these ideas and dreams and stories, and you feel like you have to like tone your voice down a little bit. When I think of Melissa Poepping in our conversations, that's where I say you truly believe in everyone bringing their light to the table and coming, you know, with their confidence.
But Lindsay, in those moments, I feel the same way.
Love that. That's where
I walk into a room and someone's like, wow, you look really fancy. And I feel that at a deep level. And I'm like, I get self-conscious. I get self-aware. Like, should I not be wearing this? And I have learned to immediately in those moments, I take a twirl.
Oh,
Thanks.
The twirl. I love
brought
the
it today.
twirl.
Thanks.
Okay.
Do a twirl, take a curtsy, like brush your shoulder. Like, yeah, I nailed it. I know.
And I have had so many conversations with women and individuals in our store even that are like, oh, I can't wear that. Or,
but
I'm
ask
not really
the question, why?
Exactly.
Like, unpack that. Why? Tell me why you can't wear that. And like, so whenever someone's in front of me and they're like, I can't do that. Why? Why couldn't you do that? And it's so often somebody can't give me the reason. And I'm like, yeah, you have to unpack that. There's some untangling there to do. And so like walking into a room too, because my energy will fill the room if I let it.
Sure.
And there's days where I'm like, I don't want my energy to fill this room.
Yep.
Like, this is mine. I'm really protective over who has access to my energy, like really protective. And there's times where people have said to me, people who have intentionally violated my energy, where they've said to me, like, what's wrong? You're not your typical self. Like, you don't get access to that version of me anymore.
Sure.
And I can authentically own that statement. Like, it has really changed. This past year, I've been on one of the most powerful personal evolution journeys of my life. And so I did recently say that in a conversation where someone's like, well, you're not your typical self. I'm like, I am. You don't get access to that anymore.
That's powerful. Super powerful. Sometimes you have to dig in to figure out like your boundaries. But what I was getting at is you have to figure out who you are, what you love, what you bring to the table. And then I kind of love where you're going with that with the boundaries.
Well, it's knowing, like, read the room, right?
Yep.
Like, if I would walk in here and I wasn't going to be sitting down and doing this with you today, like if I was walking in and I was just a shopper, I shouldn't say just, no one ever is just. So I'm walking in and I am shopping today, and that's the mode I'm in. Number one, I have no reason for my energy to fill the room. Okay. Because anytime I let my energy escape me to fill the room, what happens to me? I'm depleted. I'm going to have to go find my power source.
Like power source.
Like, there is that truth to it too. And if you don't know how to regulate, you will be exhausted all the time and have no idea why. You're just tired. You feel drained. You're in a funk, and not realize that you had an emotional wave that you were supposed to be riding. So in human design, I'm a sacral authority. So I feel everything with my emotions. Everything's going to be a sacral hit. It's either going to be or and it's instant for me. And where I get in trouble is when I bring all of my energy to the moments. Because I feel that I have this responsibility to just, you know what? I'm just going to be myself, and I'm just going to show up, and I'm going to show them. Like, that's not the vibe. That is going into an moment, spending all of my energy, and then it's gone and it's depleted. Because what would have been the result if I'm going into a room where it was an for me? Like, I knew I didn't want to be there. These are not my people. This is not my vibe. I'm here out of obligation or whatever it might be. But I walk in like, I'm just going to hold my head high. And this is where that toxic positivity comes in. Someone give me a soapbox. This is where the toxic positivity comes in. How do you feel after situations like that, Lindsay? Honestly. Drained?
Yeah, it is draining.
Hangover?
Kind of.
Like, you are so emotionally, there's nothing left of you. You don't even know up from down. And then you try to go be creative for White Peony because you need to be. You go try to create content. How's that work?
You know, one thing, where do you go for your refuel source
Let me back up to this just for a second on this toxic positivity piece. So when someone's like, just go in and be you and just show them who's boss, that's because I just went to a holiday that I didn't want to be at. It's a perfect example that most women right now are going to go, oh, yes. Yep, I have been there. Okay, so everyone's leaning in now. So it's that holiday with family you didn't want to go to, or the wedding or whatever it might have been, but you went because you thought you had to go. So you rally with your girlfriends, and they're just like, wear the best thing you can find. Wear that revenge dress. Look amazing. Show up looking and you bring all of it and just have a good time and just smile and make them jealous. Did they get jealous? Did they even care? No, because that's not your people. So it doesn't matter how you're going to show up. It's not going to change, but you just exhausted all of your energy thinking it's going to change something. It didn't change anything. And then most people don't know where to plug back into. So what I tell people that I work with, because I also do personal coaching. So what I tell people that I work with and inside my coaching program, if it is not your place and it is somewhere where there are times you just have to show up, but you can hold your beauty and your power in reserve. And that is the most powerful thing you can do in that moment. That is where you take your power back. I'm not a monkey. I'm not going to perform for someone. Like, I don't have to show up and perform. I want to show up and know that I could if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. Because I just want to hold this power in reserve.
I love that.
So like keep it in my bank, right?
Protect yourself.
Protect myself. And so when I show up in places like this today, I could walk in. I know I'm here for a purpose. I know I'm here for a reason. We're going to connect. It's going to be an amazing day. I could walk in and let my energy flood this place. And what's going to happen is I'm going to go home, and on the back end of this, I'm going to have more energy than what I came here with because this is my power source. This is my power bank. Doing these kind of things. I feel so passionate that once women truly understand that difference and make that little shift in their life, number one, they're going to start to rediscover who they are. We never forget who we are. It's about rediscovering who you are. They're going to reconnect to who they are. That is how you get your power back.
And it's a little bit of a journey. Rediscovering who you are is definitely a seasons of life. But I couldn't agree with you more. A lot of times we get so caught up in the busy world, in your everyday to-do. But guess what? It really does take that mindful reflection, sitting in your thoughts, sitting in your feelings after you leave a situation. It's not going to be perfect every time.
No.
But to protect yourself and set those boundaries for yourself is pretty incredible. But the more you do that, the more confidence builds. And the more you really look at yourself, I'm worthy. I'm going to wear the red lipstick. I'm going to walk in with these shoes that, kill the room. Whatever that looks like to you, or even on a much smaller scale, protecting and just evolving into something so beautiful.
We need to look at growth as evolution over a lifetime.
Yes.
And it's 1 foot in gratitude, 1 foot in faith. I don't regret anything that I've done. I've learned so much from every experience. And, I love the saying, what's tea for you is testimony for me. I don't regret anything that I've done. Like, have I made some mistakes? Yes. Have I looked incredibly stupid? Yeah, I have. I'm quite embarrassed of some of the things that I've done and I've said. But at the end of the day, I'm human.
Absolutely.
And you cannot show me one person that does not hold that. So 1 foot in gratitude. I'm grateful for that experience that showed me that I could do better. I'm grateful for that experience that shook me. I'm grateful for that experience that made me aware that I can be a better person, because how many people just continue to do the embarrassing, dumb things? Like, they don't learn from it and grow from it. So growth is evolution over a lifetime. 1 foot in gratitude, 1 foot in faith. But yeah, I don't regret anything, because why?
I love that. Okay, I think now I would love to talk a little bit about your brand, the VRAI Cosmetics, because with the conversations, the details that you have put, the passion, the love for who you are, what you bring to the table, what you're talking about as far as like standing tall and confident, protecting yourself, every little piece of from what I've known of Melissa Poepping and your whole journey have come down to this.
Yeah. I feel like it was what is it in an orchestra? Like the crescendo?
Oh,
like, yeah. Like it leads up to this magnificent piece. When I launched my first line in 2015, in 2016, it caught the eye of a multi-billion-dollar brand, and they approached me on entertaining the idea of an acquisition. And so in 2017, along with Young Living Essential Oils, we launched Savvy Minerals. And so my first brand was Sweet Savvy, and it's a brand I can look back at and be completely embarrassed of. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was having the time of my life. And that's all it was about fun. But I was also in a situation where I had really little control over how far I could push the envelope on ingredients or really getting creative with things, because I was working at an artisan level. So was really limited as to what I could do. When I stepped into the acquisition with Young Living, and all of a sudden it opened up this access to research and development teams and chemists and global ingredients. It was so amazing, but I had all these ideas that were ready to push the envelope even farther. But at the heart of it, it wasn't my brand anymore. I was there as a contracted advisor. I was there as a key part of the development, but ultimately it wasn't my brand anymore. So I didn't have a say over that level of direction. And so that contract actually ended up sunsetting. So we exited it early. It was a beautiful separation. I couldn't have asked for anything better. Mutual respect in the entire situation was just so beautiful. But what I'm discovering is this time around, I don't carry this on a banknote, Lindsay. I am entirely self-funded. I don't have investors. I don't have anybody dictating what I can do, what I can't do. So I've been able to take these ideas of over the past 15 years of what should makeup be and why should it perform for us? Like if this makeup's going to be rent-free on my face all day long, it better be doing something.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I like that.
Looking at how can I use efficacious ingredients, and I had all of these ideas, and now I get to run with it as far as I possibly can see it going. And so when I create a product, so really what makes VRAI so different is that before I create a product, the amount of thought that goes into it, because I'm thinking about how is she going to use it? How do I desire for you to feel when you put this on? Because makeup has so many stigmas to it that it can be too much. We can look too much. It can look too made up. You know, women will do their makeup and they think, I didn't do that right because, thanks to the Kardashians and their 76 simple steps to contour. Like somewhere along the lines, everything just got so complicated. And I watched that really chip away at women's confidence, thinking, I don't know how to do my makeup like that. And then enter Instagram filters. And it's like, what is even real anymore?
Right.
And so I would watch all of these things evolve. When I'm looking at creating a product, I think about all of that. What do I want it to be doing for your skin? What are the efficacious ingredients that I want in this? How should it be performing? How should it be wearing? Listening to the thousands of conversations that I've had with women over the years that powder looks too dry, liquid looks too liquid, it settles into my fine lines, I get the creases in my eyelids, this color isn't right, I can't find the right tones. And so when I create a product, those are the things that I'm thinking of. All of those conversations literally replay on rapid repeat through my mind. And then I think about what should a proper routine be? Because the truth is not enough women take enough time for themselves. And so getting ready in the morning becomes this afterthought. And then we're rushing to put the makeup on, rushing to pick out an outfit, rushing to do our hair. And we don't like how we look. And we don't then like how we feel. And then it really affects everything through the rest of the day. And when you start your day in a chaotic state, the rest of the day is a chaotic state.
Guilty.
Yes. And so it's really about creating these goddess moments. Like I have specifically carved out goddess days and I have CEO days. My CEO days, I am hustling. I am driven. I am focused. This is what I'm working on today. And it's just a get shit done day. Like it's just get it done. Just
same phrase.
Plow through and get it done. I do make sure, because I'm not logistical and I don't like the logistical things. So I do make sure that every morning is filled with some sort of content creation or some sort of creativity or some sort of just gets me in this amazing mode. And then I can go into numbers and data and spreadsheets and projections and, all the things. And then I have my goddess days. And those are days where I'm not going to be hustling. I'm not going to be doing product research. I'm not going to be working on a product development. It's not going to be quick. I can get this piece of work done. I can get these emails answered. It truly is a goddess day for me. And sometimes I can't fit the whole day in. So it's like a goddess hour. But every single day I have a little pocket of time in the morning of getting ready. That's my goddess time.
I love hearing your intention behind your time management. I don't call it my goddess day, but maybe that's what I'm going to go with. Or my goddess moment.
It's just, it makes it so different. And when you can step into that, so how many women are like, I don't like the way my spouse treats me. I don't like the way my friends treat me. I don't like the way my coworkers treat me. I always ask this question back. Well, how do you treat you?
Yeah.
Because
Valid.
how you treat you shows everyone else how to treat you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not treating yourself like a goddess, how the hell would anybody else know to treat you like a goddess?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the most powerful questions. If you don't like how other people are treating you, stop and ask, well, wait a minute, how am I treating me?
Mm-hmm.
I love on the weekends, I'll have a glass of champagne and I have a Tiffany's flute. And that's what I drink it out of. And my husband sees this. Do you think my husband's ever going to bring me a Prosecco in a plastic cup?
More than likely, no.
No.
No, that's
and I use it as an example because
is
it's like,
mine.
yeah,
Absolutely.
it's like no one's going to forget that example. If you are going to rush through dinner, standing up, inhaling your food, would your husband ever treat you like a goddess, plate your food, put it down for you, have a deep, amazing conversation over dinner with you where it's just the two of you and you connect? So you set the example, you set the tone. Whenever I'm creating a product, I am literally thinking about those things. What is going to make her feel like a goddess? What's going to make her feel like a goddess is how this component is going to feel in her hand. What's going to make her feel like a goddess is the moment her order arrives at her door and she sees how gorgeous it is when she unpacks it. Because this is straight out of Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Yves Saint Laurent. Like, I order. When can ordering designer be a tax deduction? It's when you're doing
honestly,
it. Honestly.
Or makeup for that matter.
I know. So I'm
purchasing.
ordering from these designers because I want to see how is it going to look when it shows up. And whether you are buying I think the cheapest thing at Dior you can get is like $50. So you buy their $50 micellar water. It shows up the same as if you just bought a $20,000 bag.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
details.
Every single woman is celebrated the same. So whether you buy a mascara or you buy the I'm all in, give me everything collection, it arrives looking the same. And every woman is celebrated the same because it's how is she going to feel? And it's about creating that experience. And so when I'm looking at the component, when I'm looking at the brushes, I'm testing out all these different fibers for the brushes. And think about, Lindsay, the mascara that you love, how that component feels because it's weighted. So, you know, it just feels heavier and it feels good in your hand. So you feel gorgeous when you're putting it on. I'm developing a skincare line for the brand. Awesome. And it's usually about, 2 years of this production phase. But looking at the components right now, there's nothing like setting down a glass component on a marble surface and that sound that it makes.
Sure.
And so those are all the things that are going through my mind when I'm creating a product. So it has to feel beautiful just holding it and having it on her vanity. Because if that doesn't matter, if she's not proud to take it out of her bag, if she's not proud to put it on in the morning and feel that way, it's going to go to the back of the cabinet and you're not going to use it. And then the next piece I bring in is the application. So how is this going to feel on your skin? And then what ingredients am I putting into it that are so refined and so rare and exotic? Like I'm doing a lot of stuff right now with apple stem cells. Did you know that 1 kilo of apple stem cell powder goes for $4,500?
Oh my gosh.
That is the going rate. I have a apple stem cell powder dealer.
Oh, wow.
It's when you buy it a kilo at a time. Like I look at that and he told me, he's like, Melissa, sit down when I tell you the price. And I'm like, okay, so how much stuff can we make out of that? And he's like, well, the great news is it's so efficacious. You just need a little bit at a marketing level. I'm like, no, we're not going for marketing levels. We are going for actual efficacious levels here. I don't want to sell someone a foundation or a product and say, well, there's apple stem cells in it and it's not doing anything because it's in at a marketing level. I'm putting it in at a function level, at a claim level, because you're going to see the difference on your skin. And then you're going to feel good about what you're putting on. And so it just becomes this whole entire holistic picture, right? From the moment that it shows up to the moment that you're holding it in your hand, that you're using it, to you're applying it on your face, to when you're washing it off at night. The amount of women that message me and say, I have the hardest time washing my face at the end of the day because my makeup looks better at the end of the day than it did when I first put it on. Wow. And I don't want to take it off. I'm like, well, at some point you're going to have to.
And that's something. That's incredible.
It does. It feels really good.
When I think of your journey, your entire journey with, I don't know, even from, working with your previous line and bringing that into now, you have put so much detail into every single part of it. And when I think of you in this process, I think of details, I think of experience. Like you really hone in on everything.
Well, you know how some people like gifting is their love language?
Yes.
Experience is my love language.
I have never said that, but I think we can relate. But I think about Melissa and with this VRAI Cosmetics and listening to your story. My goodness, there's no one else that pours details and their heart into the details and experience. That's something that I think you and I can absolutely connect. You bring such an experience with every single level, every layer.
Because it matters so much. Like, Lindsay, people ask me, what's the one thing you lose sleep over at night?
Mm-hmm.
Ingredients.
Yeah.
Ingredients. Like I will lay awake thinking this is an ingredient we've been told for years to avoid and it's bad, but it was done out of a marketing angle. And how are people going to react? And how do I explain the truth to them? And how do I help them understand this? How do I build education around this? How do I make sure she feels confident using this? Like I spend thousands of hours just researching ingredients and it's so fascinating, everything that I discover. And then it also comes with, like with the apple stem cells, because it is expensive to add it to the product. How do I have the conversation with her to let her know, like, wear your makeup every day? Mm-hmm. Because you can. Mm-hmm. And it's not just for a special occasion. And your skin deserves this and you deserve this. And like, those are the things that keep me up at night. It's not the stress of the business. That's all just there. Like that's going to be there anyway. And as you know, that's not the easy part.
Right.
That's not the easy part. The easy part for me is connecting with my clients, connecting with my community and creating products. Like that's the easy part for me. So that's the part that I want to connect to the most. And like the business is there and the business, it's going to do what it's going to do. I want to put the main thing first.
So the third word that comes to mind and what you kind of had said before is standard. You have not only set the standard, but you've created it. But when I speak of that and the details and the experience and then the standard, I think of Melissa in the mirror I'm looking into, saying all of these other details to me, and not only just to me, but I think of you being that little voice speaking to either little Lindsay or my daughters. And I think that in the messages that you keep saying, I want my daughter to listen to this. I want to say this to my daughter. It was really awesome to meet your daughter. And it was really amazing to hear, like working side by side and what that kind of has evolved into. Tell me a little bit about your motherhood and your journey with all of this.
Coming out of such generational dysfunction, being able to say it's going to end with me. There was a moment, I think it was a couple months ago, and I had said to Paige, I'm like, what do you think is going to be the thing you're going to need therapy over because of how I was as a mom? And she looks at me, she's like, are you serious right now? I'm like, yeah, like what's the one thing that you think you'd have to go to therapy over? She's like, nothing. I'm like, oh my God.
Really?
Oh my God. Oh my God. I did it. I did it. It ended with us. It ended with us. Like I was so excited. She's like, Mom, you gotta
calm it down.
Listen,
that's incredible.
It was such a good feeling of just knowing like I could do it. Like I always wanted to do it different and I could do it different. And, just creating these deep connections. When Paige made the decision, because she was going to college and she was going to be an educator. And when we talked about how her first year of college was going and, she kind of opened up about a few things and I could tell that the conversation was leading towards she might not want to continue, but that she felt like she had to. I didn't want to have the conversation of saying, it's okay to quit. You can come work for me. She has to have agency of mind. And I do that with all of my kids. You have to have agency of mind and you have to be empowered to make these decisions. And I don't want to influence it either way because then number one, I don't want to be responsible for it. But number two, they need to have this place of ownership.
Yes. And they have to go through their journey.
Yeah. And it's so good when they're still in the nest. That they're making these decisions, with you. And so I had said to her, I remember very clearly saying, if you discontinue college after 1 year, which I quit after 2 weeks, like I'm a college dropout.
Actually, I don't know if I've said that on here, but yeah, I also went to college going for something completely left field, and I actually came home for many different reasons within the year.
Yeah. So it works. Or proof of concept.
Absolutely.
That works. And there are plenty of people who are proof of concept that
Absolutely.
the 4-year works, the 8-year works, the 10-year works. So I told her, I said, you're not a failure. Think about what you learned out of this first year. Can you even put a price on that? You can't. So there's value in that year.
Absolutely.
And so I really wanted her to make her own decision. And she was working for me after school anyway, and on the weekends when she would come home. And I started letting her experiment with different areas within the business. And she is so beautifully creative, like the way that her mind works. She's an artist. She's very talented. She loves photography. So she does the photography for all the product photos.
And she does a fantastic
It's so
job.
good. All I told her was, I remember the first day I sat her down to see, like, okay, little bird,
It's
let's
nice.
see you fly. What can you do? I didn't tell her what I was up to. I didn't tell her what I was doing, but I knew because she'd always, my little artist. I'm like, I need some pictures for the website. Can you take this product? I'm looking for something between a cross of Tom Ford, Chanel, and Manolo Blahnik. Go have at it. And I walked away from her, came back and was blown away. I'm like, winner, winner.
That's amazing.
Here we go. And so that's really the role that she plays. She does all of the order fulfillment. She does the logistics for the shop. And then she does all of the photography and all of the creative pieces. And then my boys, I went a little too far with the agency of mind thing. So that kind of backfired. It turns out during school, and it's so interesting because right now there's the whole debate of do you allow, phones in public schools? And
Sure. Yep.
yeah, my boys are on Facebook Marketplace basically all day, buying snowmobiles and dirt bikes and motorcycles. And they have commandeered our detached garage. It is now a small engine shop. And they are fixing these things and tuning them and flipping them and turning them over. And my husband says, of all the things they could be doing and you're going to pull them back out of this, I'm like, it's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. He's like, really? Should we go look at your closet? And
Okay.
All right. We'll
Put me in my
stop there.
place.
Yeah, all right. I get it.
That's incredible. With everything that you put into your business, your journey, having everything with family and your own children, what is the one takeaway with leadership, with lessons, with truly walking in your business, your career, your passion with such rooted values and heart? What's one lesson you want them to take away?
To know themselves. To know
I
themselves.
love that.
We get so caught up in how does this look for them? How should I be doing this? Show me someone else's proof of concept. I want to be my own damn proof of concept. I want to see, I live in a town of 68 people. When my husband, well, at that time, I don't think we were married yet, but I knew we were going to be getting married. We were engaged. I knew we would be moving to Spring Hill. I looked up the census for Spring Hill. What's all the details about this town? And I grew up in Avon, so it's not like I was moving a million miles away. But it was just interesting to me. And at that time, so this would have been back in 2000, 2001, 2002, the average income per person per year, as according to the U.S. government census, was $12,643 per person per year in Spring Hill. And the first thing I thought is, I'm going to change the census. I'll never forget that after I had launched Savvy, I had just done a massive book deal. It was my first multi-7-figure year. The census report came in the mail. And I'm like,
And it happened.
it is time. This is my moment. This is amazing. And so I filled out the census. I don't think I've ever filled out a government census so fast in my entire life. I was so excited, checking all the boxes. It was feeling amazing. And I sent it in and I kind of forgot about it, right? And I get a phone call from a census agent. And they're like, we just need to go over your census report because it looks like you made an error. So we were asking for monthly income earnings and you, I think, put in your joint annual earnings. I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so embarrassed. I am so sorry. What did I put? And he told me the number. I'm like, no, that's right.
Nope, we're right.
He's like, what? I'm like, yep, that's right. Carry on. Like, it just felt so good. And now I go back and I look at what that census number is and like the ding that one person can put in it. But how many people would have told me, you're moving out to the middle of nowhere. There's not a lot of opportunity. Who's going to drive out there to buy a product, go to a class? You don't know anything about e-commerce. You're not a chemist. You can't, create these products. Like, what if I would have listened to all of that? So sometimes you just have to know yourself, be your own proof of concept. And like, I can't live from not knowing. I can't live from that place of not knowing. I can only live from a place of experience. If I don't have the experience of something, I can only tell you how I feel from a place of fear. What if this doesn't work? What if this doesn't happen? What if this doesn't come together? But if I can actually talk from a place of experience, then I know it either worked or it didn't work. So what do I have to do? Because sometimes it might work, sometimes it might not. But either way, I'm all in. So that means I'm going to figure it out until I win at this.
I love
And so I teach my kids, I love human design. And so I teach my kids, they all know their human design profile. It's really about understanding who you are, understanding how you were designed at a core, deep cellular level. What are the things that matter to you? And my oldest son, so he's 18 now, we kind of take turns doing dishes with all the kids. So it's me and one of the other kids on a different night. It was just me and him. We're playing in the water doing dishes. And I said, Tyler, one of the concerns that I have is that you are an emotional authority with absolutely zero fear gates in your spleen. And so my concern at this point is the girl that you meet someday, I'm really going to need to be involved in this because you're going to act from a place of emotion and you have zero fear. He's like, Mom, just come on now. And I'm like serious about these conversations. He's like, Mom, like they just always constantly.
Oh, I love that.
But then there's those times where we have those conversations where something will hit him so deep. And I'm like, but Tyler, think about it. Like in that moment, was that a hit for you or was that an And did you act on it anyway? And so being able to teach them how to know themselves is so important. And each of them has something so different that makes them click. My youngest is an emotional authority. And, so helping him understand how things just hit him different. One of them is they just have these massive emotional waves. And sometimes you're on cloud 9 and sometimes you're not. And it doesn't mean that you're depressed. It doesn't mean that you're in a funk. It just means that you're in a place of like feeling into something right now. So that first and foremost, you can read all the personal development books. You can go to all of the motivational, podcasts. You can do all the stuff, but it's going to be a quick hit. It'll just be the dopamine hit because it will feel good in the moment. Sure. But once you actually understand and know you without trying to be anyone else, none of that can land. It can't actually land. And when you know yourself, it can land different. So that's the one thing for me is to know yourself.
I really love that. That was so powerful and something that I think even as a mom to take away being mindful of. I have a few questions, wrap-up questions that I would love for the listeners to think for themselves with this. And if there's another question you want to add to this, just to have those listening just resonate with that and be mindful with their own journey, their own story. But for the women listening who is just starting to question what she's been told, what truth would you want her to hold on to today?
Oh, that one just gave me chills. Women try to put on this armor of confidence. They tangle what confidence actually is. And so they go into a situation like, I'm just confident. I'm going to be confident. But what that is interpreting to them is that I can do this. Like, I am confident I can do this. I am confident I will achieve this. I am confident I will succeed. And that's not confidence. That's arrogance.
Yep.
Confidence is knowing either way, I'm going to be okay. Like, I will figure this out. Either way, I will be okay. And when I see women make that one small shift, I watch their entire world change, honestly.
Okay, another thing. What's one thing she can do this week to begin reclaiming her confidence and redefining beauty for herself?
Goddess moments. Absolutely, without a doubt, goddess moments.
Absolutely.
That's my time of getting ready. And I know that some people might be thinking, well, I have really small kids, so that's just not going to happen. But it can happen. You can ask your spouse or your partner, if you have that opportunity, to say, I need 20 minutes. And I have done the get ready with me videos where it's start to finish, hair, makeup, 15 minutes. And I'm not rushing it. I'm quite enjoying the process. So if you say to your spouse or your partner, I need 20 minutes right now. I just need that. Can you please give that to me? What partner is going to look at you and say, no?
Exactly.
And if they do, we may have to think about some things. Let's have a conversation about what we need and what makes you feel alive and thrive. Now, my kids are at an age, 16, 18, and 20, where they see me getting ready and they don't interrupt. Yeah, they just let me be. Like, they know that's my time.
So I have a little time, and maybe I need to flip the switch to the morning, but they're, to decompress.
I have goddess times at night too. My skincare routine at night is longer than my get ready routine.
That's funny you say this, because I always looked up to my grandmother, who would legitimately spend in the morning and at night these 30-minute periods putting herself together so specific, and then putting pink curls in her hair. I always looked up to her for this. And as I got, busy with my to-dos, with work, with being a mom, I really looked up to her for those moments. And I was like, how can I have that for myself? It started so far with my decompress moments at night. There are a lot of times now I'll go sit in a bubble bath. And at first my husband and my kids came looking for me. Are you okay? Like, what? I'm like, I'm in the bath still.
There's nothing better than a locked bathroom door, because no one's coming in there after you.
And I just it's my moment. I do actually sometimes even work on my phone, but I just need to decompress. And it is my way. When I have my own hot tub, you might not find me for longer than that. It gets to be long moments.
Lindsay, we need to do a whole episode on how I made $100,000 from my bathtub.
Yes. Little do you know.
Let me show you how to do that.
Yes. It's funny. They'll check on me, Mom, or Tenley, because she's the little one, my daughter, who will knock on the door and say, the hands that come under the door when they're little. And you're like, I'm going to the bathroom. Well, she's the one who can't be away from me for very long. And so she's like, Mom, last night. And she's getting older, and they know now that is my time where I just don't ask questions.
But Lindsay, they know, because you treat yourself this way. You taught them, because you take these moments for yourself. That's the way you treat yourself. Yeah. Now they know how to treat you.
And Tenley even texted me last night. Instead of interrupting, like yelling through doors, she said, Mom, because she's an ice cream lover.
Yeah.
I'm not as much, but she's an ice cream lover. So that's her love language. She made herself ice cream. And for her, she said, Mom, can I bring you a little bowl of ice cream?
Oh my gosh, that is the sweetest thing ever.
That's her love language. It was so cute.
But Lindsay, let me ask you, how many moms would be in that moment and they're like, I can't do this. This isn't going to work. My kids need me. I can't take these moments for myself.
It took a while.
It takes a while.
And you go through a journey, and we talk about the seasons in being a mom and setting the boundaries. It took a while, and I'm still working on all of that. I think everybody always is. It's a journey. However, yes, it is a little moment. And I used to be, after my executive career, I'd stay up until like 12, everyone go to bed finally.
Yeah.
Even my husband, love him dearly. Yeah. But it would be like till 11, midnight, 1 o'clock, because finally everyone's sleeping. And I almost couldn't go to bed because I needed that moment. And it wasn't about like putting makeup on or anything. It was sitting there, literally sitting there, decompressing, thinking about my feels for the day, thinking about what I was going to do for tomorrow. But that was my time. And that got a little unhealthy.
It does.
Because of lack of
real
sleep.
Quick.
So you do have to prioritize you, and you do have to set the boundaries. And it's something you can work on. It doesn't have to be perfect.
No.
Start small.
The evening routine is so beautiful for me. I went from winding down with a glass of wine to make myself a cup of tea, and, I go in and I do my whole skincare routine, my, get ready for bed. It's just become a thing. And I look forward to that time.
I love that. So the big grand question, because I know there's going to be people listening. You speak so well. You speak so well from the heart. I want everyone listening to know where they can find you, where they can connect with you, where they can explore your new VRAI Cosmetics.
My life is an open book. I'm living it, and I want people to experience it. And I don't just do it for the gram. I speak from the heart. So follow me on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. And you can find me at Melissa Poepping on Instagram. And to follow along with Beauty by VRAI, just look for Beauty by VRAI on Instagram as well.
I went to your website and it is so beautiful.
I just redid it. I wanted it to be a
and I was
submersive
like,
educational
wow.
landing page.
It is incredible. I noticed on there too, you offer master classes.
I do.
So do you want to talk about how anyone can join that?
So I just did a series of complimentary master classes. The first one was on foundation and then contour and bronzer. And the third one was on eyes. And so addressing hooded eyes and how application changes. And, you know, the master classes are just over 1 hour. I go over everything. I don't rush this through. I encourage the ladies who showed up to bring their makeup with them so we can do our makeup in real time. So when we did it live, I was able to see on the community cameras application technique and how I could work through. It was so fun because I take breaks. I'm like, okay, I want to see you apply this. Okay, yes, you got it. Okay, that one, go down a little bit more. Like it was just nice to be able to see in real time and to be able to help them. And so you can catch the replays of those if you just go to VRAICosmetics.com. Click on Connect from the menu. From there, you'll find Application and Technique, and that's where the masterclasses are housed.
How fun.
I
love that. All right. Well, thank you, Melissa, for being
Lindsay.
here with me. Thank you for being the kind woman who leads with courage, creates with conviction, and invites the rest of us to do the absolute same. To those listening, if this episode stirred something in you, I hope you'll take it a little nudge. You're allowed to question, to grow, and to walk in your truth. We'll link everything. And honestly, what I would hope for all of you is to absolutely explore Melissa Poepping's webpage and everything at the cosmetics. We're actually going to hold VRAI and a few products I can't wait to test soon here at White Peony Boutique. I'm going to just throw a little snippet in there. I love the mascara. I love the mascara so much. But yeah, you can follow along, and I hope you love everything about the product and Melissa like I do.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. If you found this information helpful, please share it with a friend. If you're looking for more information on the topics we covered, please head to the show notes below. And if you wouldn't mind leaving a 5-star rating and review, this would help this mission and our journey to get started. Let's make today and every day an opportunity to level up. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep striving, and keep making a difference.